Lesson 2, pricing and income and expenditure management. So what happens when you produce some of the product? No, then what happens is that you have to fix some of price to that product. Suppose if you are making the noodles, I'm just giving the example of noodles yesterday and today also, but that will be the best example, because if you set a certain price for that noodle, whether that price whether in that fixed price that customers can be able to buy it or not, customers will be attracted to with the price or not, because always customer, the thinking of the customer is that whenever there will be discount or whenever there will be some sort of low price rate, then only I'll buy it. So that sort of thinking will be of the customer. So there is a lot of competition going on in the noodles environment also, noodles market also. You can see CZ noodle is there, YY noodle is there, 2PM noodles are there, right? And Rampam, Ramba, something, so many different noodles name are there, and the brand is only kept if the suppose if the YY noodles cost rupees 20 and if the Rara noodles cost rupees 40, then which one will the customer will prefer to buy? Of course the customer will prefer to buy the lower one, right? So the noodles which is in lower price. So that's why fixing a price to certain product is very important by according to the market that you have analyzed. Suppose if you are from Chitwan and if you want to analyze the market of the Chitwan, how the noodles are being brought by the customers, then you have to think that what can be the certain price, what can be the price that can be kept for the noodles, so that that product can be sold in a maximum amount and will be getting the maximum profit. So that is the main theme of this pricing, income and expenditure management. So here we'll be talking, and after starting this lesson, you'll be able to define the pricing with the related aspects. Similarly, explain the income and expenditure management, and be familiar with the trading account and profit and loss account. So this trading account and the profit and loss account, this one is important in the business account for managing a business. So what is this? Let's talk about this one. Okay, so introduction. There are various aspects of business and trade. Trade is a set of activities that are related to production of goods or services, fixing their price, calculating the income and expenditure, and getting net profit or loss. So trade is the set of activities. What happens? First of all, production of goods is done. Some goods or services is produced. Then after, for that product, what can be the perfect price rate so that you'll be gaining the profit? If you'll be fixing the price in a proper manner by analyzing all the market environment, then you will be able to gain the profit. Otherwise, you may have to bear the loss. So that is the main theme of trade and the market management. So in this connection, a brief description about the pricing and the income expenditure management is presented. So pricing refers to the act of deciding how much to charge for something to sell. As I said, by analyzing the market value, we have to decide, we have to make certain price rate so that the people will be, so that the customer will be able to buy it without any hesitation, they will buy it. And another is, okay, so each commodity or services has its price in terms of money. Price is the exchange of value of goods or services given in the amount of money. Price of the product is determined on the basis of the quality and the quantity of the product. So price of the product is fixed on the basis of demand and supply of the goods and services. So what happens? Price should be fixed by analyzing the market at first. And you have to know what is the demand. Suppose if you are making the product of noodles only, suppose I am giving the example of noodle. Suppose you are producing noodles, and that product, how much quantity you will be producing it. And what is the demand in the market? Suppose you are making that 2 p.m. akabari noodles. So if you produce that 2 p.m. akabari noodles, first of all, you have to analyze, is that 2 p.m. akabari noodle is in demand or not? Then only you'll be producing in the higher quantity. First of all, you'll be producing in a lower quantity, then after you'll be producing in a higher quantity on the basis of the demand. On the basis of the demand and how much of the amount, how much of the quantity of the products to be supplied. So the quality goods or services have high prices and low quality goods can be purchased on low price. Similarly, rare products have higher price and the common products are easily available in a large quantity and have a low price. So here we can identify that. Suppose if we talk about that Korean noodle, no, Korean ramen noodle also, that was in a very high quantity, that was in a very high rate, but also people used to buy because that was noodles had a very good quality, very good texture and a very good taste. So people used to buy it even though the price was very high. But after the introduction of the 2 p.m. noodles, after the introduction of this 2 p.m. akabari noodle, then people started to buy the quantity of the low price. That the same product, similar product, we cannot say same, but the similar product was there. So people started to buy the 2 p.m. noodle, and instead of that Korean noodle, they bought it in a low price and they enjoyed it. So that's how the demand and the trend also goes on in the market. Whatever is in the trend, you have to go with that trend. And if you are able to catch the trend, then of course you will be gaining some profit. So the price of the commodity is a source of income for sellers and suppliers. It is the expenditure for the customer. So what happens? Customer will give money. That is the expenditure for customer. But supplier will be gaining the money. They will be gaining the money. That's why that is the source of income to the suppliers. Thus, determining the price of the goods or services is difficult task, but it plays a crucial role in the business. High pricing of goods or services may decrease their demand. So now you can see this can be the best example for the Korean ramen noodle. Since that was of a very high price, so slowly after the introduction of the 2 p.m. akabari, people started to buy it. That's why the demand slowly decreased. Similarly, low pricing of the product may not ensure profit. So what happens? People know, thinking of the people is such a way that the customer might be thinking, if the product is given in a very low quality, low price, suppose if that same 2 p.m. akabari is given in only 10 rupees, then what happens? People will be thinking, this 2 p.m. akabari is in very low price. I think this doesn't have the good quality. So instead of that, I will buy another current noodle. So people will be thinking in such a way. So what happens? If you set a high price also, people won't buy. If you set a low price also, people won't buy. That's why now it's time for you to analyze the market and to what amount people can buy it. To what amount people will be able to pay the money. That thing you have to analyze, and only you'll be gaining the profit in your business. So therefore, the pricing is a significant aspect of business, and determination of price of the product should be done carefully by taking many aspects into the consideration. Such aspects are expenditure in raw materials and other expenditures in related materials, expenditure in human resources and technology, other expenses such as tax, value added tax, that is VAT, and etc. Transportation charge also, it should be determined, because while delivering the products, you need the transportation cost also. Advertisement cost also you need it. Profit by selling the products. So how much profit did you gain by selling the products? That should be kept into the consideration. And market competition for the same type of product. As you can see, after the introduction of the 2 p.m. akabari, again the current noodles was introduced with the same variety, with the same type of taste. And similar other products are also being introduced. So that sort of thing is the market competition. So market competition also plays a vital role in a business, and therefore pricing is sensitive and a very careful task in a business field. The profit or loss in the business activities largely depends upon the pricing of the goods. As I said, if you set a high price to a certain product, then also people won't buy. If you set a very low price, then also people won't buy, because when you set a high price, then people can't buy it. If they will have the low income, if they have low economic background, then they can't buy it. And people will not buy whenever you will be setting a low price, because people will be thinking, oh, this is a low quality product, I won't be buying it. So that sort of thing the customer will have. Income means gaining money. Expenditure means um, loss of money. So what happens? Income and expenditure as the major aspects of any business. People involved in business activities to gain the profit. In other words, generating income is major objective of an entrepreneurship. Yes, of course, whenever you start a business, people will be only thinking about the profit only. But you must be careful that entrepreneurs might bear the loss sometimes if there is no proper management. So sometimes entrepreneurs bear the loss due to various reasons. The proper management of the income and expenditure plays a vital role in making the profit. People invest money for production, raw materials, and other facilities, and human resources are the basic requirement for the production in any business. So what happens now? You can see where will be the expenditure of the entrepreneur. Whenever you will be starting a business, what sort of expenditure you have to face? You can see here. First of all, you have to face the expenditure in raw materials. Okay, in the raw materials, then other facilities like electricity bill, like water bill, that sort of thing also you have to face it. And human resources. For any sort of production, any business activities, you need some sort of people who will be working. So these are the basic requirement, and for any production in any businesses. And if you start a business, then you have to keep in the mind that you have to invest on this sort of thing: raw materials, facilities, human resources. You have to invest on this. So this is the expenditure. Besides, other expenses such as transportation charge, advertisement charge, government tax or VAT, and commission given to the different suppliers are also included in the expenditure. From here to here, you can see the expenditure whenever you start a business. So this is the expenditure wherever in which faculty you have to invest. So this is the major thing. And you have to provide to the transportation charge, you have to give commission to the suppliers, because supplier will be helping to sell your product. That's why you have to give some sort of commission to the suppliers as well, on the basis of how much amount they have sold. That's why so these are included in the expenditures. Then the proper management of all the expenditure in the business is essential. Similarly, income or revenue. Now here you can see income or revenue. The meaning of income and the meaning of revenue is same. Okay, there is no any difference. So either you say revenue, in most of the business activities we call it revenue. So revenue is the amount of money received by the selling the products. Look, and after calculating the expenditure and income, we find out whether the profit is in business is in profit or loss. So what happens? There are various different fields where you have to make the expenses in the business activities. But while gaining the income, there is only one way: by selling the products or the services. Either by selling the products or by services, you'll be gaining the money. And by calculating that expenditure and the expenses and the income, you'll be deciding whether your business is in profit and loss. So in any business, there are two types of account. Now here comes about the account. They are trading account and the profit and loss account. In trading account, initial stock purchase, wage, and net profit are included in the debit side. Similarly, final stock and sale are included in the credit side. Likewise, in profit and loss account, all expenses are included in the debit side and all incomes are included in the credit side. So here understand the difference. Okay, in trading account, initial stock means initial investment and how much you have purchased, whatever raw materials you have purchased, the salary you have given. Okay, and the net profit, that means the net profit that you have gained, that will be included in the debit side. Either you know that debit and credit meaning or not. So debit side, it will be included. Then after this, final stock and the sale are included in the credit side. But if we talk about the profit and loss account, then all the expenses, whatever the expenses will be done, that will be included in the debit side, and all the incomes will be included in the credit side. And finally, the total expenditure, profit or loss are calculated from the business account. Okay, here you can see a model of the profit and loss account. What happens? As we have said, all the products, all the expenditure will be calculated in the debit account. Okay, and all the income will be it will be included in the credit amount. So you can see salary is also the expenditure. Okay, depreciation means depreciation means the value of the product decreases. Suppose you like machinery items, like furniture items, their value decreases on the basis of the time. Suppose you are buying a furniture item in suppose you are buying a furniture item like sofa for rupees 60,000. Then what happens? After 1 year, the value decreases to 50,000. After 2 years, it decreases to 30,000. After several years, it will decrease to 20,000. So you can see the decrement in the decrease in the value of the furniture items. Similarly, of machinery items also there will be depreciation. So understand the meaning of the depreciation. Okay, the value decrease in the value of any product. And repair expenses. So whenever the machinery items will be damaged, it has to be repaired, and that is also expenditure. And administrative expenses means very common expenditures like files, like other administrative expenses will be there. So that also comes under the expenditure, and that is to be included in the debit. Similarly, income tax that you have to pay to the government. Then after, indirect expenses, so miscellaneous expenses will be there. Various small expenses will be there in a business that will be counted as indirect or the miscellaneous expenses. So that will be also included in the debit account. And then after, in credit, you can see gross profit. Then after, interest income. Then after, net loss. So profit or loss in any business depends upon the amount of debit or credit. If the total amount of debit side is higher than that of the credit side, then it makes a loss. Now you can see, since this is the expenditure side, no? Debit means expenditure side, credit means income side. Okay. So what happens? Whenever the debit side has the higher total value, if it has the higher total value, then if this debit side has the higher total value than this credit side, then we decide that the business is in loss. But vice versa, if this credit side has a higher value than this debit side, then we consider this that the business is in profit. So similarly, if the total amount of the credit side is higher than that of the debit side, then it makes a profit. So profit is divided between or among the shareholders as per the Company Act. But in case of loss, all the shareholders have to undertake sole responsibility. Profit or loss account is calculated by calculating the total income and the total expenditure. If the total income is greater than the total expenditure, it makes profit. If the total expenditure is greater than the total income, then it makes a loss. As we have said, So this is about the profit and loss account. And